Gita, a divine dialogue consisting of 700 verses, was delivered by Lord Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra during the great war of the Mahabharata. In this sacred text, Lord Krishna addresses the doubts and questions that arise in Arjuna's mind, explaining the truth of life, duty, righteousness, dharma, and the path to liberation, moksha. To understand the teachings of the Gita, the important messages given by Lord Krishna through its various chapters are presented as follows. Chapter 1. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's dejection. As Arjuna stands on the battlefield, facing his own relatives, teachers, and friends, his heart is filled with sorrow and confusion. He questions the value of killing his loved ones in war and becomes mentally distressed, seeking guidance from Lord Krishna. This chapter portrays Arjuna's dilemma and grief. Chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga, Transcendental Knowledge. Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that the soul is immortal and the body is perishable. He emphasizes that death is only of the body, not the soul. Krishna introduces the importance of karma yoga, stating that one should perform duties without attachment to the fruits of actions. This chapter expounds on the principles of jnana yoga, yoga of knowledge, and karma yoga, yoga of action. Chapter 3. Karma yoga, the yoga of action. Krishna explains the necessity of performing actions and urges Arjuna to follow his natural duties. He declares that selfless action, nishkama karma, is the best path, where one dedicates the fruits of actions to God and acts without any expectations. Chapter 4. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of knowledge and renunciation of action. In this chapter, Lord Krishna reveals that he has taught this divine yoga to the sun god, Vivasvan, and that this knowledge has been passed down over time. He emphasizes the importance of combining knowledge with action, explaining that through knowledge, one can be freed from the bonds of karma. Chapter 5. Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation. Krishna differentiates between karma yoga and karma sannyasa yoga, renunciation of action, stating that both paths can lead to liberation, but karma yoga is superior because it involves active participation in the world without renouncing duties, which involves self-discipline and mental stability. He explains how one can control the mind through meditation and unite with the divine. For successful meditation, a secluded place, pure food, regular practice, and self-control are necessary. Chapter 7. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge and wisdom. Krishna tells Arjuna that he is the cause of all creation and that everything is contained within him. He clarifies the relationship between Maya, illusion, and Brahman, the Absolute, and highlights the importance of devotion. Those who surrender to him with a true heart gain all knowledge. Chapter 8. Akshara Brahma Yoga, the yoga of the imperishable Absolute. Krishna reveals the mysteries of birth, death, rebirth, and liberation. He explains that remembering God at the time of death leads to liberation. He assures Arjuna that those who seek his refuge never go astray. Chapter 9. Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. This chapter unveils the most profound and secret knowledge of the divine. Krishna states that he is the essence of all elements and the master of everything. Those who worship him with devotion will be freed from all sins and attain liberation. Chapter 10. Vibhuti Yoga, the yoga of divine glories. Krishna describes his various divine manifestations and powers that appear in different aspects of the universe. He explains that he is the source of everything and the soul of all beings. He reveals to Arjuna that he is the creator. Chapter 11. Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, the yoga of the vision of the universal form. Arjuna expresses a desire to see Krishna's divine universal form. Krishna grants this vision, revealing a cosmic form that encompasses the entire universe, all beings, time, and death. Arjuna is both amazed and overwhelmed by this awe-inspiring and terrifying form, and he praises Krishna's greatness. Chapter 12. Bhakti Yoga, the Yoga of Devotion. Krishna describes different forms of devotion and explains the simplicity and ease of the path of devotion. He says that anyone who remembers and surrenders to him with love can easily attain him. Bhakti, devotion, is described as the most straightforward and supreme path, requiring only love and surrender. Chapter 13. Kshatrajna Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the field and the knower of the field. Krishna explains the distinction between the body, kshetra, and the soul, kshatrajna. He states that the body is perishable, while the soul is eternal. This chapter provides deep knowledge of the relationship between the body and the soul, asserting that understanding both leads to true wisdom. Chapter 14. Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the division of the three gunas. Krishna describes the three gunas, qualities: sattva, purity; rajas, activity; and tamas, ignorance, that constitute nature and influence human behavior and actions. He says that sattva is pure and enlightening, rajas is active and full of attachment, and tamas is dark and lazy. To attain liberation, one must rise above these three gunas. Chapter 15. Purukshetra Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Divine Personality. Krishna describes the world as an ashvata, banyan tree, with roots above and branches below, symbolizing the impermanence of the material world and the immortality of the soul. He clarifies the relationship between the soul and the Supreme Soul, stating that the Supreme Being, Purukshetra, is the highest. Chapter 16. Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the division between the divine and the non-divine. Krishna describes the divine and demonic qualities. He explains that divine qualities lead to liberation, while demonic qualities lead to bondage. He urges one to cultivate divine qualities and avoid the demonic ones. Chapter 17. Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the threefold faith. Krishna discusses the three types of faith: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, and how they correspond to one's nature. The quality of faith determines one's food, worship, charity, and austerities. Sattvic faith is pure. Rajasic faith is driven by desires, and tamasic faith is born of ignorance. Chapter 18. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of liberation and renunciation. In the final chapter, Krishna clarifies the difference between renunciation and detachment. He reminds Arjuna of his duties and motivates him to fight. Krishna urges Arjuna to surrender all forms of religion and take refuge in him alone. He assures Arjuna that by doing so, he will be freed from all sins and attain liberation. Conclusion. The essence of the teachings of the Gita is that one should perform their duties selflessly, without attachment to the results. Through the paths of devotion, bhakti, knowledge, jnana, and action, karma, one can achieve liberation. The message of the Gita is universal and timeless.